All right. What is up, everybody? We're trying this one last time. Liquidation warnings, Bitcoin crashing. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Should you be buying? Should you be selling? Where should you be picking up these cryptos? What are we about to see in the week coming up? We just had a major volatility week in the crypto market, seeing us drop down to $56,000 and then pumping all the way up to $65,000 in the last 24 hours, give or take a few $100s. So should you be buying? Should you be selling? Should you be selling in May and walking away like all the bears said? Well, chat, I have to tell you, I believe that bears are going to be crying for the longevity of this market because, yeah, I mean, they're going to act like this didn't just happen. $56,000 to, $65,000. Guys, we're talking $9,000 in Bitcoin price action. Well, guys, give me a 1 in chat if you can hear me. Give me a 2 if it is trash. I have no idea what just happened with OBS and the systems. Our building got smacked by some lightning right when I clicked that live button at 3:30. And I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to get these markets moving. It's because I think we're about to drop too much alpha. The fear and greed index, guys, has bounced back to 69 after being oversold and in the fear marker for roughly, about 3 to 4 days at that point. So we are getting a bit of bounce. Markets are getting a little bit greedy, and we're seeing that across the board, guys. I mean, look at Crypto Bubbles here, and thank you for the ones, guys. You're amazing. Smash that like button. Appreciate you guys for being so patient. Jasmine here up 6%, Wild up 12%, Render 8.3%, Arweave up 12%, and AKT up 13% here. You'll notice a lot of the AI tokens are the ones that are moving up today: Near, Fetch, Ajax, Render. And so we're going to be covering that here in just a moment on why. But again, looking at this crypto market, guys, Bitcoin sitting now at $63,900, having a bit of a pullback. I do believe that pullback is about to drop even further. Ethereum here, 31.43. Shout out to all the Ethereum holders. And then, of course, XRP, 53 cents. Solana down just a little bit. No top movers, really, though, in the top 15 to 20 tokens. They're all kind of waiting for Bitcoin's next major movement. So what is Bitcoin's next major movement? Well, warning. The Bitcoin liquidation map has been updated, and as you guys know, we need to adjust that data. We called the exact bottom. We dollar cost average. We bought 15.5 ETH. We bought $15,000 worth of Ondo, which is now worth, actually, let's check on our Ondo bags real quick, guys. Let's go to Ondo Finance right here. 83 cents. So that's up a disgusting amount of money as well. Made probably roughly 2K off this trade alone from a spot purchase here. So what altcoins am I going to be looking to buy? There's quite a few, but more importantly, where are these markets heading? So Bitcoin liquidation heat map. On the daily, guys, we are starting to see a significant amount of volume open up below us down to the $62,300. There's $1 billion if we were to simply drop about $1,500 in Bitcoin. However, there is another $1 billion if we were to rise to $60,000. So this is where we're at a 50-50 point of dilemma. Where is the market going to go? Between buyers and sellers, between bulls and bears. They're trying to pull the market in one direction or the other. So what I like to do is simply go over to high block here, and I like to look at our windshield wiper method. You guys notice this. Look at this. The windshield wiper wiped up. I have been telling you guys at $56, $57, $58, $59,000 Bitcoin, buy, because this windshield wiper was going to go the opposite direction. Now we're sitting at a $22 billion delta spread. That is insane. All right, that is crazy. 22 billion. You usually see a reversal around 15 to 20 billion. We're over that. So the probabilities of getting a little bit of a pullback are pretty high. Now, why is that? Well, I'm going to hit refresh just to double check it one more time. We're at 22 billion. And let's look at Ethereum. Okay, let's look at Ethereum's delta spread here before we move to the next chart. Ethereum also now at a $4.9 billion delta spread. Massive for Ethereum here. So I'm expecting a bit of a pullback before we move higher. I am bullish. I am very, very, very bullish, guys. In chat, let me know. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you bullish or are you bearish? Let me know in the chat. Because, sure enough, when we're looking at the liquidation heat map here, $64,000 Bitcoin, it's a 64,600, and then below us at 60,300, we have major resistance and support levels. So the major resistance level is going to be 64,700, which if you guys were watching the charts at all, if we zoom in on the 4 hour, or even let's just go to the hourly chart here, right? If we were to zoom in on this, you would see that we were battle testing that all yesterday. So 64,700, this is going to be that significant resistance, which was the breakdown we had before we went down all the way to 56K, so or $56,600. So that is that resistance right there. We've came up, we're almost testing, we're trying to eat away at that liquidity. Came up, almost tested it, trying to eat away at that liquidity, but we couldn't break through it. And the reason why is people got too bullish too quickly, right? Too bullish too quickly. So where are we heading next? Well, there's something that everybody is ignoring, and that is going to be the Bitcoin futures. And I'm teaching you with this in chat today. So if you guys don't know what the Bitcoin futures are, this is going to be for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And this is a market that's only open Monday through Friday. This is where your institutions play. Okay, this is where all your institutional money plays. Now, the difference between the futures market and Bitcoin's overall market is it's only open Monday through Friday. So when you look at these daily candlesticks, you're going to notice it says Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and then it jumps back to Friday. It skips out Saturday and Sunday. Now, what happens is when you see this close on a Friday, right? Like, look at this right here. I'm going to show you a perfect example. This was Wednesday, and actually it jumped. That's not even a perfect gap. I want to show you guys a perfect gap example. Here you go. So back in, this is December, you can see this massive, massive gap. When it closed on this Friday, Bitcoin's price closed at $39,200. On Monday, it opened at $40,000. So it left this massive gap. And let me get a little rectangle out here so you guys can see this a little bit better. It left a massive gap in the market for the institutions. Now, historically, it's not every single time, but it's like 95% of the time, the market is going to come down at a certain point and fill that gap. And you can see that it did nearly a month later in January. After the ETF announcement. After the January ETF announcement, it came out and filled that gap. So what I like to watch for, guys, is where we're at on this future market. So, of course, right now, when it closed at $62,590 Bitcoin, which means there's going to be a gap at wherever it launches. So we went up to $64,700, right? That's where we just hit today. Excuse me. Wow, got a little bit of a belch there. But let's go down to our brush. Right, I want to pull up the brush here. Let's go back up to the brush. That means if we were to open up at $64,300, where the price of Bitcoin's been hovering around, it would create a gap. Okay, that's what would happen if we were to open up tomorrow, Monday, right? Not Saturday and Sunday, but Monday's candle on the futures would open up higher than expected. So I still believe we are very, very bullish. But if you're a trader, right? If you're a trader, I just spot buy traditionally. But if you wanted to do a swing trade, this is where this would open up. Because how it would play out, let me zoom out right here. This is how I would expect it to play out. Let me get a little pathway to make it in real time for you guys. But essentially, right, we broke up to $64,000. I got to zoom in further than that. That's way too small for anybody to see. Let's go here. So, right, we broke up. Let me pull out that path. We broke out to $64,000, roughly $64,700. That is where we hit yesterday or like late last night. I would expect if markets were to open up higher than expected tomorrow, that we come back down to the 62,750 level, closing that gap, right? So maybe it goes a little bit lower, gets a little spike before moving higher, okay? That is the play out I'm expecting. Now, I'm expecting this, right? Which would obviously mean there'd be a little bit of volatility tomorrow. You might be able to get a better position than you would be entering at that $64,000 range. But when you look at signals, we have so much confirmation. One, we have the high block, right? Delta spread needs to be wiped out. If we drop down to, what is this range right here? 20, we got to go back to Bitcoin here. I'm going to give you guys an exact price target because these have been playing out perfectly. You guys have been watching us do so on this stream every single day. So make sure, again, smash that like button and subscribe so you stop missing out on all that alpha. But let's go do 60. This is 61,500. So 60,000, that would be around that range. I'm expecting a good amount of these longs, guys, to get wiped out. Somewhere between this next support level, anywhere between 61,500 and 62,500. So that's significant room, but that is the gap here on the liquidation charts. That would come down to 61,725 and 63,275 would be support. But again, I think we're going to come down and fill that gap because on signals, we have it right here, guys. We have a massive imbalance at $62,800. And if you guys are new to this channel, well, welcome. But I like color coding. It makes everything so much easier. The yellow lines on these charts, guys, are incredible support and resistance levels. If the yellow line is above it, above the price, it's resistance. If it's below it, it's support. And the market loves to come back and always fill these gaps. You'll notice that that yellow imbalance is always filled. Created one here, spiked up, came back down and retested it. Now we create it again. I do expect us to come down and retest it. And that $62,800 coincides perfectly with the futures gap. It's off by a few points, but it's almost right at that range. So $62,800 is what I expect, but I am incredibly bullish, and here's why. So the MACD, let's go back to Bitcoin's chart here. I've been talking about this for a while now. We had a bullish divergence playing out on the charts. And I know this is a little bit more of a TA segment today, but I want you guys to be extremely prepared for this week. We just broke out of the SMA here, so the RSI coming out. But look at the MACD here. Why can't I hover on this? Let me there. There we go. Let's move it. Let's bring it up bigger. Make it bigger for you guys to see on the chart here. We had a bullish divergence playing out here on the MACD. And for the first time in like 45 days, let me get the measuring stick out here so we can look at the dates. We have how many days? 50 days. In 50 days, that's almost 2 months, mind you. For the first time in nearly 2 months, the MACD is starting to reverse, which tells me that that falling wedge, us breaking out, maybe coming down and fixing, hitting that liquidation would be a retest of this orange line before we break out to higher numbers. And not a lot of people are talking about this indicator, which is really alarming to me, because if you wanted to zoom out, when in doubt, always zoom out on these markets, guys. Like, all you can do with indicators and oscillators is you're playing off probability. So you want to look at historically what happens when the MACD breaks out. You'll notice for 50 days, right? For 50 days, we were in the red on the MACD. The last time that happened, maybe you can argue was 2021, right? Maybe you can argue it was 2021. I would argue it wasn't even, that was even, even before that. It was probably this, somewhere in this dip here. I don't even know if this is enough time frame, right? Let's go to, let's see if we can even find a shot. I don't have to do a little bit more research on this, but the fact that it's now flipping bullish with the RSI looking to break out to the upside, I haven't seen the market this red for this long on this oscillator with this potential breakout, which would tell me that Bitcoin's price is way more bullish than, again, it is bearish at this point. I don't know if that's going to be a $75,000 Bitcoin. I don't know if that's going to be an $80,000 Bitcoin. But what I do know is that can we get some rest in peace? Can we put RIP? Guys, get the RIP headstone in the chat for bears. Can we get some rest in peace for the bears out there? I am so sorry for you guys. It is tough out there for the bears here today. And I feel honestly really, really bad, because that $56,000 Bitcoin, guys, there were straight up influencers and creators out there saying, hey, we're going to go to 49K. We're going to go to 33K. And it's the same thing over and over again. When we broke out to, of course, $26,000, $31,000 Bitcoin here, and we came down to 26K, everybody was like, no, we're going to go back down to 19,000. We're going to go back down to 12,000. Then when we went up to $47,000, everybody's like, no, I'm not going to buy back in until we go back to 28K. Never went down to 28K. You remember when we went down to $38,000 Bitcoin? This was in January 2024. Everyone's like, no, we're going to go lower. We're going to go lower. We're going to go lower. We never went lower. And it just feels like that same exact market psychology playing out where we are today. Now, I want to pull up a few different really bullish indicators as well coming from Twitter. We have Ash Crypto, biggest supply shock in history about to take place. Bitcoin reserves on exchanges have fallen by 360,000 or $22.8 billion in 1 year. With pension funds and sovereign funds planning to buy Bitcoin soon, get ready for the biggest Bitcoin supply shock. So this is where that short squeeze, guys, is coming. I keep talking about it because I was showing you everything on the daily. Let's now zoom out. Let's go to the 30-day. There is still almost $10 billion in liquidations. And mind you, if we go back down to $62,200, that will be $1 billion of the so that will be about 25% of, more volume, creating probably 12 billion in shorts. Again, it's creating a short squeeze play out to see prices move higher in the coming weeks. It does not look like a sell in May and walk away scenario here, guys. So when we see now more supply coming off these exchanges, there's less Bitcoin available for these institutions, and we know the sovereign wealth funds are coming into play. I mean, do the math. It's simple math at this point, guys, for the supply shocks taking place. And this was a really cool example coming out from Ash Crypto as well on Twitter, looking at Bitcoin from a different perspective. How much Bitcoin it costs to buy a home. So in 2015, to buy the same home, mind you guys, the same exact home in 2015 cost $262,000. Today, it would cost around $582,000 for that same exact home. So while your money is depreciating, while the US dollar is depreciating, and I'm going to show you why in a video in just a second, look at Bitcoin. Every single year, it gets cheaper and cheaper to buy homes with a Bitcoin. Now, not in the sense if you're out of the market, but if you were a hodler for Bitcoin, right, from 2015 or 2018 or 2021, you would be able to buy a home much, much easier because the value of your asset is a hedge against inflation. And for whatever reason, Peter Schiff and these, Bitcoin maxis, US dollar maxi gurus, they don't like that. And they try to argue against that, but the reality is this is a hedge against the debasement of currencies. And smash that like button, guys, if you agree. We're at 93 likes right now with 600 amazing concurrent viewers at this point. So I appreciate you guys for the love and the support in this chat today, guys. Just make sure you guys go right below, click that like button. It pushes us up into the algorithm and really helps everybody get all the information they need in these markets to be prepared. So I want to show this little video with you guys. This is the head. Yeah, this is, believe it or not, guys, this is the chair of the Economic Council for Biden's administration. So you would think that maybe the Biden administration is, going to fix the US dollar. They have a great cabinet member. They have a great council advising them to do what they need to do with money to fix these markets, to keep them from moving higher. So that way, houses don't become more expensive, right? You're betting on our presidents. You're betting on our government to help us, right? Our dollar is depreciating faster than ever. Is there a way out? Well, let's listen to this 1.5-minute video, which is a mind-blowing documentary called Finding the Money, being released on May 3rd. I need to go watch this full thing.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
He just asked the reporter, is that what they do? Yeah, again, looking down below here, chair of the Council of Economic Advisor for President Joseph Biden. This guy should know how money works, chat, but he very clearly doesn't.
They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I'm just...
He's confusing himself. It's so... The federal government prints money. This is an Arbitrum... This is a... what's even the correct word for it's a creation, like a bunch of white dudes got in a room in 1913 and were like, you know what, we should be able to control the money printer. We should be able to indebt other nations by selling our bonds. He's right in that sense, which is essentially just selling the United States debt to other countries, and they print our money to pay back off our own debt. So you would think that, okay, well, someone with that type of power, well, they should be able to budget our debt. They should be able to control our deficits. They should be able to be somewhat responsible with our money spending, but instead, you know, you guys see this in Congress when we have a huge bill come into effect, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, it's going to take this amount of money to be able to do that. So we either need to, you know, lower Social Security, or maybe we need to take that out of the, you know, the healthcare sector. Maybe we need to, you know, focus on, you know, less government spend, whatever, you know, educational spending, wherever it is. Usually it's kind of like, okay, we got to budget that. We have a balance sheet, we have a P&L, and we need to balance that. Now, the problem is, you know, that sounds reasonable, but at the same time, you have Congress spending unlimited amount of money to fund foreign wars and don't even calculate that into those budgets. And it creates this endless rotation of us having to print more and more money to pay off more and more of our own debts that we create. Now, again, this is the chief advisor or the chair of the Economic Council for Biden. So I shouldn't even have to explain this. And this guy should know money like the back of his hand and understand what happens when you actually print money. But let's go ahead.
I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
My voice just squeaked, dude. My mind is blown. My mind is, guys, if you're for crypto and you vote for these type of people, like, you just, I don't know what you're doing. Like, just realize those are the advisors to, like, that is what makes me so bullish on Bitcoin. That is in itself why I'm bullish on Bitcoin, because there's no Federal Reserve that doesn't understand money being controlled by a government body that doesn't understand money, telling me what I can and can't do with my funding or with my money. Right? It is my money. No one's going to print more Bitcoin. There's a set supply. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever, and it's got an insane amount of value to it, from a store of value, a hedge against inflation, to the energy consumption with the negative energy markets. It's creating more capital inflow for every single country on the planet. El Salvador is coming back from complete their ecosystem was completely broken. Now they're building a Bitcoin city. This is going to fix things like reduction of carbon emissions. There is so much value to that. And the people that are in charge of printing our money, that control the world's debts, can't even tell you why they do it in the first place. That should be alarming to everybody in this chat here. So here's Bitcoin Magazine coming out and saying, hey, Bitcoin versus the Fed. Bitcoin is audited every 10 minutes by tens of thousands of people all across the globe. The Federal Reserve has not been audited in 109 years. The Pentagon has not passed an audit for the last 6 times, and they will probably never pass an audit themselves, right? Why are we giving people control of the money when they can't even understand the money in the first place? This is why when they go, I don't, Bitcoin's a scam, it's a Ponzi. It's because they control a legitimate Ponzi already, which is the US dollar. So here's a really cool, this is the power law of, this is a power law and time contours, which is going to be created by APSK32 on Twitter here. But this would be the resemblance, or this is a presentation of what it would look like if Bitcoin is continuously adopted at the rate it has been. And, when people say, oh, Bitcoin consumes more power than an entire country, well, they're just idiots reading kind of fluff pieces developed by like Wall Street Journal or like insiders that are trying to bash on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin can use negative energy. It can create more sustainable energy, and it could be mined completely based off renewables and be really, really good for the environment. It can actually save our environment from things like fossil fuels. So check this out right here. This is a really cool presentation. Oh my God, that was loud. It just broke everybody's ears listening. This is a Bitcoin price prediction, by the way. So this is 2024. This would be the price prediction from APSK, moving into this bull run, a possible high of $171,000. By July 2031, based off this chart, it could have a high of $1 million. In July of 2036, that would be the bottom of the market. In just 11 years from now, $1 million Bitcoin could be the bottom of the actual market. So that's a little bit of absolute bull can't say the word on stream here, but that is feeding to the bullish narrative. Now, I'm obviously a lot more conservative than that, and I'm a pessimistic, but I do think Bitcoin could relate to a $500,000, $600,000 price point in 15 years based off just the negative energy market alone, which we would need an entire another show for me to dive into what that means with Bitcoin miners and how they're utilizing sustainable energy and building things like sustainable power grids. Because you can use landfills. Landfills create an insane amount of methane gas. We can create that, take that, which is being just emitted into our atmospheres. We can turn things like that in every single state into Bitcoin miners. There's so much you can do. It makes me incredibly bullish on the long term of Bitcoin. But these are all reasons, guys, why Bitcoin, I do believe, is going to go up in the long term. Again, in the short term, in summarization, if you're just now tuning in, I believe we can have a little bit of a pullback in these markets as we drew out, maybe coming back down and filling that futures gap tomorrow before we do move higher. A lot of indicators are flashing bullish signals right now. So what are the altcoins I'm going to be buying? What are the altcoins I'm accumulating? Let me know in chat, guys. What altcoins are you picking up this cycle? Or at least in this moment right now, what are you dollar cost averaging into? Because I know a lot of us share a lot of those projects, whether it's Ondo, Velodrome, Aerodrome, C-Swap. There's a lot of products we're all accumulating together. But here's Chainlink. Of course, I'm going to say the first project I would really pay attention to is Sergey Nazarov's, blue chip altcoin, I like to call it, which is Chainlink. Here's him talking for 50 seconds, and it just makes me so bullish on the future of Chainlink.
Once you do enough market penetration in all over the world in consumer markets, and the retail hedge funds and the prop traders kind of get the industry to $10 trillion, what's next? Like, where does the other $490 trillion that this industry is going to secure come from? Well, turns out it comes from the place where it is, which is the traditional financial system, right? And so the challenge is, how do you convert and transfer all of the value in the traditional financial system into the blockchain format of value? What are the things that need to happen? And eventually we'll be in a world where the way a DeFi protocol is successful is by allowing all the users in various large asset managers and banks to use that DeFi protocol.
Yeah, and again, I think Chainlink's going to be that DeFi protocol. So Chainlink's still number one. I think the CCIP is by far one of the best interoperability protocols that you can actually utilize, and is why I'm looking at projects. A lot of you are in the XSwap and whatnot. My favorite is going to be a C-Swap here, sitting at 11 cents now. It's another micro cap, but using that CCIP interoperability, privacy DEX, guys. Privacy is the future. There is another altcoin, though, here that I'm going to show you guys on Twitter that was pointed out by Mr. Crypto. A guy that I met actually in Dubai. He's a phenomenal trader. He makes a disgusting amount of money trading alone. His whole thing is about TA. That's his entire Twitter's TA. But he pointed out a really bullish Arbitrum, chart. So while all these markets have been bleeding, we're right here right now. He's comparing this to Optimism, right? This is Optimism. He's showing a comparison between Arbitrum and Optimism, another network I'm incredibly bullish on. But it looks like Arbitrum is about to pull off that bottoming indicator right now. It's jumping on some major support here at the $1.05. So if you pull up Arbitrum's chart, Arbitrum right now is sitting at now $1.08, up just a little bit here. And in fact, let's pull it up on the liquidation charts. Let's see if we can see Arbitrum. Oh, it is on here. That's money. Let's see if it's still in the negative. Not in the negative. It's still actually up, so it's probably going to follow the markets here. But look at that short, right? Look at these shorts that are piling up above us. So if we see Arbitrum pull back to maybe $1.03, or maybe even $1.01 with this pullback with Bitcoin back to $62,800, which we don't have to do. We can technically rise up to 75K before filling that gap. Again, it's all about probabilities here, chat. You got to risk manage your portfolios. So right now, everything's overbought. We have a $22 billion delta spread on Bitcoin. From my experience, 9 out of 10 times, that means we are going to come back and fill that gap before moving higher. That's where I would pick up Arbitrum here, probably tomorrow on Monday or late night today, whenever that pullback does occur. Maybe it is even Tuesday. But I would like to, again, I'd be watching for that because Arbitrum is at that point of major support, and it could be pushing back up to those highs that it's seen. So if that does happen, there's another project that's on my watch list that you guys have seen me talk about. Let me go back to the watch list here. It is going to be THL. So THL is Thala, and you guys know this about me, and if you don't, I am a decentralized exchange lover. Okay, that I love DeFi. That is where all my money's in right now. Bitcoin, DeFi, these DEXs, these layer 2s, that is where I'm jumping in because that's where the liquidity is really going to fall into. The AMMs, right? Velodrome. Velodrome is an AMM. Velodrome Finance now down to 15 cents here, but it already jumped massively, I think, to like 18 cents from what he called the bottom at 13 cents. Aerodrome right there, $1.20. Thala is the DEX, the decentralized exchange. Let me double confirm that. Should be the exchange for, oh no, this is Aptos. I lied to you guys. I lied to you. Arbitrum, my goodness, there's so many DEXs. Arbitrum is Camelot. It is Camelot, which is already down here. Camelot token, $1,200 token because it's got a very, very small supply, very, very small market cap. But again, that is going to be the DEX here of Arbitrum. So, definitely watch out for Camelot as a DEX. But that does remind me, actually, Aptos probably is looking at the similar functionality or similar TA levels as Arbitrum as well. So I'd keep an eye out on this either way, too. It dropped from $18 to 9 cents in this last correction. So this could be also another project that is about to pop off due to its venture capitalism background with Silicon Valley representatives from Meta, like their CEO, correct? So, I would be watching both those systems, but Arbitrum is flashing some major buy signals. I'm on top of that. You guys know I just picked up a ton of Ondo. Ondo is probably one of my favorite projects at this point, just because of the value it holds in its products for RWAs. That's going to be one of my bigger portfolio positions now. I'm definitely adding a lot more to that. So, a shout out to anybody that's holding Ondo. And again, guys, just a quick reminder, if you guys like this type of content and want me to be live streaming a lot more often, you want us to do these, consistently, make sure you smash that like button. We're at almost 200 likes with 520 beautiful people watching. I would like to see that 250 level, guys. If all 500 of you smash that like button, it would be the most beautiful thing in the world for providing all this value to you guys. But again, either way, just appreciate you guys being here, supporting the channel, and liking the content that we have been pushing out. James Leiter, the man who won the giveaway. Let me know, by the way, if you did end up receiving that. I believe they did get paid out. I want to double check with you guys. But thank you for being here, man. Welcome to the allies here. Dude, just thank you for the membership here. Fetch AI rendered Dog as well. Yeah, so Dog was another call from, of course, this was a big winner. I told you guys, LFG ended up taking, just completely shitting the bed, so to speak. It did a 10x for us, and we were all hyped up for the airdrop, but they just messed up on it. It was a terrible execution. However, Runes Protocol, as I have been telling you guys forever, was going to make millionaires. And Dog to the moon, $265 million. It peaked at almost $500 million. Yeah, dude, everybody that received airdrops from everything that Leonidas has built on Runes Protocol's layer, they received thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So shout out to anybody that was, a part of Dogs or the Runes Protocol. I'm incredibly bullish on Runes Protocol. It's also why I love OrdiSwap, which is now, up back to 11 cents. It bottomed out at 6 cents. It was down. Didn't it go down to 6 cents? Yeah, it went to 6 cents. So it's already up almost 100% from its bottom here. One of my favorite protocols as well. They have all their updates coming. This is going to be Bitcoin's best. I think it's the Uniswap of Bitcoin. I have high hopes for this DEX building on top of this. They're also integrating Runes Protocol. It's a $50-60 million market cap token. It's a little bit behind on coin market cap here. But if I had to pick out my favorite altcoins right now, guys, definitely Chainlink. Definitely Chainlink's always going to be there. Stacks as well. However, I told you guys on Friday or Thursday or whenever it was when DZ got into the long, the $1.99 Stacks was going to be that perfect entry point. It's already up over 25%. So shout out to anybody that got in Stacks. We have, let's see, Ondo, again, top favorite here. Arrow, top favorite here. Velodrome, favorite here. We have OrdiSwap. We have ChainSwap, definitely favorite here as well, up 43% now in the last 7 days. We have also projects like Research Coin I still love. It's been hovering around that 44-cent level as a decentralized science project. Data Lake's down to 0.015. Could be a decent entry point here for the Lake and, of course, the DeSci projects. And then some really small micro caps I'd pay attention to would be ones like CDX right here, which would be Code Chain. But those are very small caps, and those are for member streams only. So I can't talk other than that. You have to clip that stream and go, wait, what was that token, Josh? watch it back. But there's your alpha for you guys. And guys, again, thank you for all the likes coming in here. What happened to BFI? BFI ended up just breaking even. It's pretty much, I think it's at what? They launched at the worst time, brother. I mean, that's all that happened to BFI. It's a trading terminal. They're integrated with OrdiSwap as well. If we go to the yearly here, it did go up to almost 40 cents. So for anybody that bought in, you could have made some decent gains there. You know, we sold, I think in the Discord, pretty much break even on the... I don't know if I got to look back in the Discord what we did, but this could come back. It's a very small market cap, only at $7.9 million. And look, I mean, seriously, look, it launched April 10th. So it's been pretty much only trying to trade against the downside in this market. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt any project. But, you know, this is built on top of Bitcoin as a trading terminal as well. So there is that with BFI. What else do we have here? Jasmine, just not the biggest fan of, but, you know, hopefully it keeps moving for you if you hold on to it. Pendle, great project. Jason says Arrow times OrdiSwap equals generational wealth. Yeah, guys, I think a lot of these are beautiful. And I would even look into now your AI tokens. I think the AI tokens have taken enough of a hit where some of your favorite AI tokens like Render or Near could be good to dollar cost average into. I've been saying that now for multiple days. We said at $7.50 Render, this was probably a good opportunity to buy back in. I still don't hold any of the AI tokens, but I'm going to be dropping an AI video here soon just on top projects in the industry, what you should watch for. But, you know, still, this is starting to get a pretty big bounce in the market for Render. I wouldn't be jumping on Render, but again, that's really up to you. There is Near Protocol here, which I think sitting at a $6 billion market cap. Yeah, let's go to it. So $8 billion now. This is another project that's barely taken any heater, and you got to look at the market cap, right? I do think it can get back to that $10 billion here. So Near, Render, probably decent projects to hop into. Fetch and them, they had all that run up. I would wait for the merger to see how that goes with Fetch, Ocean, and AI. In Ajax, but I do want that new token they're going to launch. Okay, the ones that they're all merging together. Ocean, Fetch, and AGIX are merging together. I 100% want a bag of that on whatever dip I can accumulate it on. For sure. FFM. Obviously the members know what's up with FFM. It is down a little bit from when we talked about it. It went up. It actually went crazy. It went up to like 12 cents. However, it is back down because it followed the market, right? It just followed the market. But this was actually given to me from a person that got me into Aerodrome very early, and he called Aerodrome at 8 cents. So this is an RWA play, and RWAs might be the most bullish sector that I am on. They want to connect real-world assets to DeFi and lending, so you'll be able to borrow and trade against them, which is actually it's a pretty decent play there, and their team is actually really, really smart. Forgot what the connection was that he gave me on it. I'd have to do another deep dive into it. We've done a couple on it as well. But again, when you're looking at RWA.xyz, right, chat, you want to be watching for the projects. I'm all about use case, but I really don't care about use case unless the product's actually being used. Ondo is by far one of the most bullish projects in my opinion because they have the OUSG and the USDY here. They're the third largest RWA tokenization platform for US treasuries out of any market. So that is disgustingly bullish. And it's not like they've just, you know, it's been like this. They've been growing nonstop. Like they've been like their products, they're the purple line here. You can see have been growing. They peaked down in the middle of March. They blew up with Biddle, and Biddle is still receiving more than ever. So I expect this $1.275 billion to be $50 billion by the end of this year. And that's going to be incredibly bullish for Ondo and its ecosystem. So yeah, that is a shout out there. But guys, that's what I got for you today. Guys, make sure you smash that like button on the way out. I appreciate you all. Make sure you guys get hyped, get excited. You're now all prepared. You know, if markets come down to that $62,800 level, you know why. You know exactly what you should be looking for in terms of dollar cost averaging. And now you're able to anticipate and proactively, you know, realize why markets fill that futures gap here tomorrow if they do. Again, doesn't have to, but all of our indicators and our probabilities showing from the delta spreads, the liquidations, are telling us that we need a little bit of that pullback to fill that futures gap, which could be, maybe it only comes down to 63,000. I am expecting it maybe to come down to that 62,700 range. We will see as of tomorrow on Monday with market opens. But as it stands, markets are incredibly bullish. And if we get that sell-off tonight, guys, and we fill this $62,800 gap on signals here, I'm going to be incredibly bullish. I think this can turn into support. I think we get a little bit of a flash below it. We'll see. Actually, it's starting to pump down below. That price is pulling towards like a magnet. If we can fill that, yeah, guys, I think all-time highs for Bitcoin are coming a lot sooner than people think. And the bears that were screaming for you to sell in May and walk away, well, you know, maybe we let them back. I don't even know. I don't even know what we should do for the Bears. Just rest in peace to the Bears. They've already gotten absolutely wrecked from $56,000 Bitcoin. Every bear was, oh, we're going to go lower. We're going to go to 49K. We're going to go to 33K. Yeah, they are completely wrecking the communities right now. And so, you know, with that, guys, take profits if you're up, right? If you bought at the bottom and you're up to these levels, feel free to set those stop losses if you guys don't want to get wiped out. But I am anticipating higher highs here in the new future for Bitcoin's price, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Peace out.